Hey, I'm here with Theo. Theo, what is the Noob Cube?
A bunch of fun.
I'm here with Jeff. Jeff, can you explain what the Noob Cube is?
The Noob Cube is basically a cube that I guess you put together with a bunch of cards that you had randomly around your house, and then people started donating cards, which is super cool. But I guess the project was to get people into cubing and meeting new people, and that's actually how I met you, was through Facebook to play the cube. So yeah, it's just casual, fun magic.
To the best of my awareness, the Noob Cube is a cube of cards that are readily available that are not insanely complicated for new players.
So it just helps you learn more about the game and more about interactions. It's a lot of cards I've never seen, so yeah, it's good.
Can you explain what the Noob Cube is?
I can try, but I'm probably not going to be very good at it, having never played. But I think it's a low-power cube with. I think all the cards are below $5. Is what I heard. Is that true?
Yeah.
What else have I heard about the Noob Cube? Mark texted me about the Noob Cube. He said, "Don't play aggro. Don't worry about low drops. Love you, Mark."
That's a conflict of interest. Mark isn't allowed to do that. He's on the coverage team.
Well, maybe he didn't put that last part.
Okay, it's fine if he didn't say I love you.
If he didn't say.
What are you talking about? In the Noob Cube, you've had one of the most dominant performances so far. You made the finals twice, and then last week you won. There's only one other player who has done a little bit better, who won 3 in a row, Lucas Childs. Have you had any interactions with Lucas?
I hadn't met him until today. I actually am a member of this Cube group on Facebook, so I've seen him posting, but I never met him until today.
Are you worried about anyone in particular?
I'm certainly worried about Frank. Me and Frank were oft compared back in like 2007 or 8. We were like, he was the big Lucas, or I was the tiny Frank. We're both as sketchy as each other, and just as irreverent and sort of, I don't know. It's usually quite droll when we see each other.
So we had one more spot in the roster, and Milo brings in Daniel Fournier, also local hero, also multiple Pro Tour competitor, multiple top 8 GP top 8 competitor. I'm still struggling to make day 2 of a GP, so like I have a snowball's chance in hell today, but I like him a lot. He's a good friend. I'm glad he's here. Nice guy. Local hero. Local hero.
I mean, I know Dan Fournier. I've known him for like a long time. Not personally, but like I've known of him. He's just an awesome guy. Yeah.
Is it intimidating that somebody on the Pro Tour is cubing with you guys?
No, not at all. No, I'm not. It's just another day of Magic. It's fine.
Normally, I could imagine when you enter a tournament, you're the favorite. But today, Lucas Childs is showing up, and he is completely undefeated in Noob Cubes.
Yeah, that guy just hasn't lost, and that's terrifying. Like, does he have some technology that I don't? Like, I guess we'll have to see. I'll try to play the best I can, I guess.
The fact that he has a lot of practice with the Noob Cube and you've never even touched it, does that worry you a little bit?
Well, it's definitely a big advantage. Like, I took a look at a previous card list, and I don't know if that's even up to date.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's definitely an advantage, though.
One of the other people who you met and you played against before was Lucas Childs, who is actually undefeated. He's never lost a single match in Noob Cube.
No, he is not. I beat him in a game once, one single game, but it did not go to match. No, so I made him sweat a little bit. Let's see what happens today.
So one of the players here, Jeff, he's got a crazy mustache. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage for Noob Cube?
I think it makes him more of a target. Everyone's going to be gunning for that mustache because no one's going to forget his face.
So there's a few people that you've played Magic with before here, a few new people. One of the new people is Jeff. Have you had a moment to say hello and make a new friend?
Yeah, I did, but I don't know if we're going to play later today or not.
But you have a friend forever now. It's a bonding experience.
I guess that's the thing of Magic. I'll have a friend forever. I don't have any way to contact him yet, though, so maybe I should find a way to contact my friend forever.
One of the players who you know pretty well is Josh. You're friends with Josh. Are you worried about playing Josh today?
Not terribly. I mean, I beat him last time.
I want some revenge. Maya crushed my spirits last time with her mono black devotion deck, and I'm hopefully gonna run it back to the finals. And if I run into her, she better watch out.
There's one guy who's towering over everyone today, and that's Tall Frank. He's a giant. Do you think that his height will give him an advantage today?
It might give him an advantage, or it might be a disadvantage. Maybe he'll be too high up that he can't see the small creatures below him.
No. Well played, sir. You play a lot of cube. Like you play like vintage cube and powered cubes. How does this stack up? And what's the difference between playing a powered cube and playing a low powered cube?
So powered cube generates the worst games I've ever encountered in Magic. There's a lot of like turn one, like Lotus, Time Vault, D-Scoop. Like this game's gonna be awful. Whereas this compares a lot more to, I actually have a peasant cube, which is common uncommon, and this is like very close to that power level, which is with a bunch of added cool rares. So I like it a lot. It's cool. It generates a lot of like really good games of Magic. Powered cube can have just some awful stuff happen. This cube doesn't have that happen, and I like it.
So you actually have a higher powered cube, and you're playing the noob cube, which is lower powered. What's the difference when you're drafting?
I think the difference between drafting like a stronger like rare cube versus a noob cube is that in noob cube you have to kind of look at it as though it's like almost like a peasant cube, which is made up of just commons and uncommons, but it's got some like rares to kind of augment things and push people into certain archetypes. Obviously, there are cards, because of that, there are cards that you would pick highly over other cards like Master of the Unseen or Palace Siege or things like that. In a kind of just rare cube, it's a lot more of a toss-up between what you're going to pick because the power level is kind of spread out really nice over the whole thing.
That's time in the round.
All right, here we are for round one at Face-to-Face Games Toronto. We've got Theo versus Frank.
So we saw Frank draft his deck, and now he's going up against his first competition, Theo Andrews. Hopefully we got a good match here.
We'll have some idea of what's in Theo's deck just based on the packs we saw.
That's right.
It does look like he's playing green.
Looks like he picked up some of the green. I see, is that a Spirit Monger in his hand? That could have been Frank's. So maybe they were actually, kind of battling over some of the same cards.
Yeah, and it looks like Theo's on the play, and he starts with a Forest. We are, of course, using the Vancouver Mulligan rule for these games, meaning that if you start with less cards than intended, you can scry one at the beginning, but I think both of them kept their starting hands.
Yeah, it looks like it here. So, Utopia Tree, that's just Birds of Paradise, that's an 0-2 for 2. Now, I don't think Frank's got a second turn play here, so...
No, I don't see... Oh, he does have the Twisted Abomination in his hand.
He does. So, I'm sure he plans to cycle that in turn. Unfortunately, he's already chock full of swamps. He needs something else.
Yeah, and he is playing the full Esper. He's got the High Sentinels and a bunch of blue cards in his hand.
That he does.
And is that a Cultivate?
Cultivate.
That's a Cultivate from Theo. So
excellent card. I love that card.
He's flying out of the gates.
He's got, he's potentially fixed all of his colors. He's accelerated. He'll be on turn 5 the next turn.
And that is a Plains for Theo as well. So he's playing.
He's Abzan.
The Abzan that we were thinking about earlier.
That's right. Actually, sorry, he's turn 6 after this because of the Utopia Tree. And considering the fact that the Utopia Tree can attack, it's a 0-2, so that's not going to matter.
I don't think the bluff attack is worth it in this
No,
case.
that's not going to do anything. So Frank does indeed cycle the Twisted A-Bomb, gets his Swamp, and he's got another card over there.
This is the sleight of hand we talked about earlier.
You gotta watch Frank.
If that's an island, then okay.
So it looks like he's got to play his Swamp.
I think he drew a Rushing River there, so... Oh, he doesn't have to play the Night
There's
Veil
Night Veil Spectre. See, really cool. I mean, the fact that it's split, sometimes it looks very mana-intensive, but, the right deck, it's actually okay to play.
Yeah. And beyond that, he does have... Looks like... Is that the Animate? No, that's not the Animate.
No, that's a Skin Render he's got in the back
Skin Render on the left, and then the Bloodline Keeper in the middle. Yeah, so he's got a number of 4-drops in his hand.
He definitely wants to draw a land here. I mean, Theo's on a 6-drop, so he can put some real pressure on the board here.
I was going to say,
News.
Frank could count on hitting one of Theo's lands, but that's no longer the case.
No, it doesn't seem so.
Just on time, just like he drew it up.
Yeah. So here's the Skin Render, I think.
Yeah.
Kills the Windborn Muse.
It's looking pretty good.
Gets in there.
He gets right around the emissary.
And
he's
it
got
is
another
a
land drop. Yeah.
Night Veil Spectre is great for that. I mean, when you start hitting lands and you can play other people's lands, that's value.
First damage of the game goes to Frank.
First blood, like Rambo.
So Theo, I mean, 3 of the cards he's played there have all somewhat been able to ramp him. So I'm wondering if he has any big plays over the next couple of turns.
Yeah, I'm wondering that too. This is sometimes the problem with a ramp deck. You end up with your ramp pieces and you're like, I can do anything. And then, okay, that anything happens to be playing a Viridian Shaman or whatever that card is.
Because he did
Viridian
tap
Zealot.
out all of his mana last turn, so I'm assuming he still has a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah. He's definitely got cards in hand. He knows he has to meet Frank's pressure here. You can't just leave Frank to keep doing this.
He doesn't have to worry about counter magic or anything like that at this point. And that's the Hydra Broodmaster.
Hydra Broodmaster. So that's the dude with Monstrosity X. You pay double X, and then you put XXX Hydras into play. So a lot of X's there.
And it is a 7/7 to start, which is not bad.
Ooh, it's big. It's big. I mean, Frank's lucky he's got a flyer here, so if he wants to keep some pressure up in that way, he can. Whether he just decides to chump block or something, I don't know. But this is definitely something good to do with your mana from Theo's point of view.
That'd be a great time to hit a pacifism or something like that.
Yeah. Well, just like he has the Doomblade in his deck, which would be fantastic. Don't think that's coming out here. He could bounce it. No, he doesn't have blue, so...
No, the Bloodline Keeper can keep it occupied, though.
Yeah, he's got to probably get some chumps out there.
And that is what he decides, the Bloodline Keeper.
So, looks like Frank's going to probably make a decision about whether he's blocking it or not this turn, at least.
Well, he has a blocker for the Viridian Emissary, but I'm assuming the first hit will take 7 instead of throwing away any of his creatures.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be too much value in that, considering that he's at 20.
Yeah, he's got lots of time still. Of course, if we see Become a Manse and something else, and all of a sudden the game's turned, you never know in these cubes.
And that can happen, right? Like, those Become a Manse is like a uncommon, right?
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean you can get more than one of them in this case.
Yeah, that's true, but it'll be in the noob cube.
There's the attack with just the Broodmaster.
So Frank can throw away both his creatures if he feels like it. But no, he just takes the damage, which makes sense. And again, still in danger of monstrification. But looks like maybe Theo has a different play, or he's just going for 2/2s? No, it is the Spirit Monger.
Yeah. It's a lot of beef on that side.
Yeah, and Frank doesn't have a Wrath. He's got the Bane of the Living, but he's looking at quite a bit of pressure here.
That Rushing River would look real nice right now.
Oh yeah, he's got to hit that blue. He's got to. Now, like you said, he played the Bloodline Keeper, so he's got chumps online, but now he's got to have 2 chumps.
Is that a third forest?
It's a forest.
Interesting in that Theo hasn't played another land after the Cultivate there, so he might actually be needing one of those.
Frank's been stripping them out of the top of his deck. But I think Theo is probably fine. The fact that, he's got 6 mana available means he's already okay.
And I mean, if Frank doesn't block the Spirit Monger and the Broodmaster, he's just dead.
Yep.
That's 13 right there.
So you gotta like Theo's position here. Frank's not out of it, but he needs a blue mana, and he needs to start kind of figuring out a way not to just keep losing cards to chumps.
The High Sentinels comes out, and I think the only white source was the caves there, was it?
Yeah, that's the caves.
I'm sure that'll be fixed in a second. Might have been missed, but...
Ooh,
and a
Snuff Out. Snuff Out out of nowhere, and Theo pays the life. Again, efficient, allows him to do something end of turn. He didn't have well, he had the second black from, or actually Snuff Out only has 1 black, never mind.
Yeah, Snuff Out is nice like that. It gives you a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah. I mean, this presumes that Theo has a play here if he used the Snuff Out end of turn for life.
Those free spells can really come as a surprise. I mean, the Slaughter Pact, Snuff Outs.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it's really good to have them in cube. Sometimes they seem a bit, costly, but they can swing a game.
So he can Monstrous for 2 right now, I believe.
Yeah, that's right, because it's double X.
And he'd still have Regeneration mana up. So Frank does make the chump blocker.
He's got the 2/2 flyer, that blocks the Hydra.
And is he going to take 6?
That Spirit Monger. Again, problem with the Spirit Monger is if it kills the Skin Render, it gets a +1/+1 counter.
Is that Mastery of the Unseen? Is that what that is? In Theo's hand? That's a great way to use mana if so.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that is what he's got. I think he has a Blastoderm too.
We need the chest cam for this one.
Oh, yeah. So Theo's just thinking it over. I mean, this game is closer than it might seem, right? Like 10 to 7 here. And
it's kind of a shock to realize. I mean, Theo's already at 10 just from the hits from the Nightfall Spectre there. And with the Bloodline Keeper, it's not that hard to attack for a lot of damage in here. Yeah, you're right. There's the Blastoderm. And,
I think this is the correct play from Theo. There's no point in holding back or, trying to avoid a Wrath or something like that. He's just got to go for it.
He's got a lot of beef. I mean, any type of overrun effect would be...
That's right.
A massive amount of damage coming Frank's way.
And if he's projecting this damage... Well, I was thinking that Frank might not attack, but Frank did go for the attack.
The 4th Forest.
Wow. That's incredible. And considering that Theo is playing colors that Frank can play, Frank, I'm sure, would have liked to have, just some more cards that he could play differently.
Yes.
Instead of all the blue stuff in his hand.
I'm not sure if he remembered to add islands to his deck or not, but we'll find out shortly enough. It's not Spectre, another flyer. So Frank is actually presenting lethal in the air next turn.
He is.
So if he has 2 chumps. He has the Vampire Token and Skin Render. And can he survive that? No, he'll need to block at least 3 of them, so he won't be able to do that.
Yeah, because he'll still be 3/2/2. He'll be 1 off. The swing in for Theo has got to be a given, right? Like there's no point in not attacking.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any way to deal with the flyers. His best hope is just to race.
He's just got to get in there.
But we'll see what he does. I like the look of Theo's deck so far.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm wondering whether he should have used the Hydra Broodmaster at some earlier turn. Like, even if he was only getting 2/2/2s, whether that would have made any difference. Well, the Skin Render could have just been eating them then, right?
Yeah, he was adding more power to the board per turn. So
yeah,
I think
he played Spiritmonger, he played Blastoderm, so he probably did make efficient use of his mana. It's unfortunate that Snuff Out is coming to bite him a little bit here, right? Like,
the life
having paid the 4 life.
Yeah. But he also doesn't have very many targets for it.
Yeah, that's true too. It's non-black creature, so...
He doesn't attack with everything, which means I think that Frank can just double chump and take the match. Or the game, I should say.
Yeah, because Frank's got Chump.
Yeah, he needed to attack with the Emissary and the Llanowar Elves too.
But again, it's still 7 damage, right?
Yeah,
3
we'll
from
see
the Bloodline
what Theo
Keeper.
has. I mean, he might have a plan for that as well. He did get damage through. Frank's at 2 life.
Yeah, Frank's at 2 here.
Is that a Putrefy?
Putrefy. So that kills the Nightveil Spectre. And we're looking at Frank's turn here.
Still no island. Which means I think that might be enough. The Putrefy, and that's
it. He scoops it up. See us back for the second game.
Do you have any more in there?
Okay, we're back here for game 2. Frank will have the option of going first or second based on losing that game.
And looking at his hand here, he does have the island. He's finally got his island.
They both kept. Frank, yeah, he's got looks like the blue and the black, but no white this time.
Yeah, so let's hope he doesn't get too.
Doesn't want to surprise Theo. Theo also doesn't know he's playing blue yet.
That's true. That's true. He keeps it on double black. If he had the Hymn to Torak, he could have used it there. Just saying.
And that's a morphed Willbender.
That's a morphed Willbender. It's nice to get that out early. Considering Theo is playing black, probably has more removal than just the Snuff Out. That could.
Well, he played the Putrefy as well last game.
Putrefy, that's right. So Frank's looking to bounce that back in his face. So, Cultivate
again.
Awesome card.
And Frank's second game in a row, he's going to get the first damage on the board.
Yeah, looks like it. So Theo goes for the Plains, and in hand he takes...
I'd love to see a mountain here.
Mountain? Yeah.
No, it is a
okay,
forest.
It's a forest.
Yeah, he's got all his colors now, so...
Yeah. Yeah, Theo's deck seems to really get rolling on the lands. I mean, if you're playing things like Hydra Broodmaster and stuff like that, you need to make sure you do.
Yeah.
So Frank, turn 4. What you got?
No, there's the
Night
Night
Veil
Veil Spectre.
Spectre.
Again.
That guy did work last time.
Good.
Frank pops in for 2.
And plays the Night Veil Spectre. Doesn't have Willbender mana open because it does cost 1
It's
in a blue.
1 in a
flip.
blue. Probably again still worth it just to get the dude out there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of developing the board right now. Even if Theo targets one of Frank's creatures, it's not like you can switch it to anything else anyways.
Yeah, that's right. The white mana is going to come up here. Frank needs it to play the High Sentinels of Ration. If he doesn't get it, he's still got Skin Render
I think
up
it's an
to-
Unburial Rites as well, which
Yeah,
is another
Unburial
reason to need
Rites.
the white. And a Morph from Theo.
So, have we seen any morphs from Theo yet?
I think I saw the Hydra, the one that...
Oh, the Cobra something
The hooded
Hydra.
Hydra.
Hydra. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So that could very well be what he
That's
played.
the one that flips with 5+1 when counters. When it dies, you get,
The tokens equal to counters,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a strong one too. So Theo's on all Hydras here,
Yes.
and Frank's probably looking to swing in. He's wondering about his Skin Render, I'm sure.
Would
I
you
mean-
be looking to attack the Morph into the other Morph?
I would just Skin Rend it, because I mean, playing Skin Render's putting a dude out anyway,
And it
and
is the hooded Hydra.
just get the damage through. So it was that Hydra. He's looking at it. It looks like a bunch of cobras on an elephant. Wouldn't want to face that in the middle of a forest.
I don't know what to say though.
Say, me neither.
Palaka Worm for the Night Veil Spectre. So if he hits the 4 forests again,
Yeah, he's just got to hit 4 more forests and he's good.
Palaka Worm's it's a great card. I'm
Oh
a big
yeah,
fan
I'm
of
sure
it.
Theo would have loved to be able to play it. Now it's stolen. Palaka Worm is like super value all around. It's like Solemn Simulacrum
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
7/7 Trampler.
I know you're a huge fan of Solemn Simulator.
Oh, I love that guy. Sad robots all the way. I don't think we saw any here, but ooh,
Reclamation Sage.
Reclamation Sage into nothing.
No targets.
That doesn't speak
That's a little
well
worrying
of Theo's
on
hand.
6 mana, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens here. Of course, he does still have the 3rd game if this game doesn't go according to plan.
This is true. So playing the Reclamation Sage really just implies that it's a chump blocker.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it can trade with the Morph,
Yeah, that's true.
which Frank is going to decline.
Yeah, Frank doesn't seem to want to go for it, which is fair. This is still 5 damage.
Yep.
And the card is a forest.
Forest number 1.
He's
I think he
getting
already
there.
played the Underground
He
River
did
this
play a
turn.
land. He's still lacking... No, is that a white? No, he still doesn't have
Still
white.
lacking the white.
Checks out the Underground River there. So, things aren't looking great for Theo. If he draws a bigger bomb that he can play, then, he's okay. He has a Plains in hand at least, so...
It is good for Theo that Frank didn't add to his board last turn.
Yes. That's the silver lining, I guess.
Pacifism, are we going to see the Willbender?
Oh, ho, ho.
Oh,
Willbend.
before he even shows what it is!
Frank's like, I'll pay dude just to put it over here. That's what you do, right? It's like chain pacifism. But
Chain pacifism.
the Willbender does his job. I do not think Theo is happy about that, or really going to see...
And he can't even destroy it because
Any
he's already
more
played
turns.
the Reclamation Sage.
It's the irony.
It's unfortunate. Theo at 9, an attack here will bring him down to just 3. And he's going to get another free card from the Night Veil Spectre.
So, yeah, another one off the top. And it is...
Golgari Signet.
Golgari Signet. Wow, he really was
He's-
getting to that Palaka
Yeah,
one.
he's getting pretty close.
So, Frank goes ahead and plays the forest there.
And this is
Taps out for 6.
He's got the Kiga
That's
as well.
the Kiga. Yeah, that's got to close things out. I mean, he's walking right into a Wrath of God if that's anything Theo has.
Well, he
So
still
I
has
just
the...
don't think
Oh,
so.
and Theo backs it up. All right,
That's right. See us back here for the 3rd game in this match.
3rd and final game. Game 3, the big decider.
Yeah, so we're going to find out who takes this match, Theo or Frank. Our previous game went to Frank. Looks like he closed out on Theo, who didn't really draw too much gas.
Yeah.
And Frank's looking okay here. We can
Missing
see
his color again. He's got no blue mana.
He's got... Is that a land behind the Caves of Koilos? I can't really...
Yeah, it's a Caves of
It's a
Swamp, and he's
right?
got the Twisted Abomination as well.
Okay.
I do find it's important psychologically to win your first match in these tournaments, so I think this is going to be a very important game for both of them.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, starting off on the wrong foot, obviously, is going to kind of put you off. The Elvish Mystic is great, and I think that if he's got a 3-drop here, which he does, so there's his morph. Could be that Hydra that we saw before.
Yeah, it did look a little bit like it.
Now, Frank drew the bounce land. He's got blue-white there.
He's got all his colors now.
That's probably what he should just go ahead and play, right?
He can. Well, he went second, so he can play the bounce land and discard a card for him to reanimate next turn if he wants to.
Oh, that's true. Yes. He's got Memory Lapse, I think, which is the white-bordered blue card there.
Well, he can't leave this turn.
He can't, because the land comes into play tapped. No amulets here.
No. I think he might be debating that very play. I mean, his other option, he can just play his regular land, cycle a Twisted Abomination, and then reanimate that.
Yes, that's true.
And then he can just bounce the land he reanimates and have regeneration mana up next turn. So that's
Yeah,
not a bad.
that
It
looks like
that's
what he's going
gonna
for.
do, yeah.
The fact that he has other lands means, he's got those options. He doesn't necessarily need to go right into the bounce land. Thins his deck a little bit by swamp cycling.
Yeah. And he's not getting card disadvantage this way.
Yeah. So Theo comes in for 2. Frank takes it.
So he's got plans for that Elvish Mystic again.
And, yeah, I mean, Elvish Mystic is best tapped for mana. Ooh, Windborn Muse. Now, we know Frank's got the Skin Render in hand as well, so that's not coming out next turn, but...
Would have been great if Theo could have let off on a Blastoderm there.
Yeah, Blastoderm would really be the business here. This is exactly when you would want to play it and really kind of get in there.
Although I guess he wouldn't have known that the Twisted Abomination... It actually worked out better this way, because the Twisted Abomination would blank that pretty well.
Yeah.
He does reanimate.
He does go for it.
Goes down to 13 for that.
So he is taking 6.
Or 6 down to 12. Yeah, he was down
It's
to 12
hefty.
for that.
But probably well worth it, considering that's a regenerator. And, he can probably stymie some of the bleeding.
Yeah, as it looks right now, I mean, he's only taking 2 damage from that Windborn Muse.
Yeah.
But that will bring him down to 10, and it's only turn 3.
That's right. It's still getting there, so Frank does need the answer. He has the Rushing River. He has the Skin Render. So he's probably not too badly off here. And this
Putrefy
is
can't be regenerated.
Ooh, that's saucy.
This is with Elvish Mystic.
He's
That's got to
holding
be
it up.
suspicious for Frank.
I would definitely be suspicious if I were Frank. So it was the Hydra. That's out now.
It's not the best Reanimator.
Frank has a lot of goodies in his hands.
Yeah.
The longer the game goes, I think.
Go ahead.
And here's the Bloodline Keeper.
And now he's starting to claw his way back into this.
Never heard of grand finals before. All I know is muscles I never used.
Ooh, and it is Spiritus Mongeri.
Actually, that's not true. I know exactly what kind of deck would be exciting in this cube. Maya's deck last time played
Well,
Linekeeper.
yeah. He's got that Willbender again. Probably wishes it was...
For insurance?
Yeah, for sure. He's not going to get blown out by some instant or something.
And the memory lapse. So
And
he has
the
quite a
memory
bit of
lapse.
insurance right now.
Yeah, so keeping up 4 mana like this is his advantage.
Slide that palm all over my body. It's fine.
20-6, he's technically winning,
Mhm.
but things can change. Rancor's so good. Sometimes it's, a bit under the radar, people don't notice, but Rancor on a Spirit Monger? That's old school too, yeah.
The Reclamation Stage.
Ooh, that's your Demir Signet there, Franco.
Yep. And now Frank will no longer have both Memory Lapse and Willbender up if he lets this resolve.
The unfortunate thing is that Theo doesn't have any targets for Reclamation Sage, so the Willbender can't get to work that way.
Right.
He's thinking of tapping for mana. He's gonna.
No, he is going to Memory Lapse.
He's gonna Memory Lapse it, so that's top of the line.
I guess he figures if that's Theo's best play on 6 mana,
Yeah,
forcing him to do it again next turn.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, he also uses his mana for the turn.
That's right, and he still has Willbender up.
Yeah.
So if something happens, he's got the 2 mana for it.
Tumble Magnet.
Tumblar Magnet. Lets Frank read it a bit there, gets the counters on it. Now, if he taps something, he can Willbend that if he chose to,
Yeah.
right?
Tapping the Bloodline Keeper doesn't do much, though.
Yeah, he's just going to tap it for the token.
Let's see what he does. He does. He'll be able to at least get in with the Windborn Muse now.
Yeah. So it's a 2/2. And here comes the cavalry. So Spirit Monger and Windborn Muse getting in there.
And he does still have Regeneration mana up, so even if Frank blocks with everything.
That's right. He doesn't really have the option to kill that Spirit Monger. It's always a nice trick to tap all your mana and leave the creature untapped, so
Yeah.
you can't quite tell sometimes. If you're not focused, you wouldn't maybe remember that the...
It can be a little risky if end of turn, like Frank would, if he had
He
like a
could kill
lightning
it.
bolt to kill it,
Yeah.
and then you don't have the regeneration mana up.
So it's definitely a risk-reward type of thing. If you're trying to fake somebody out, again, that's being cute, so
Right.
you might get blown out by something like a lightning
But he
bolt.
is also representing green and white spells,
Yeah.
leaving it up as well.
But
so.
exactly, by having the multiple colors of mana. So they go ahead and put that first on the Willbender. So again, of course, Theo doesn't know it's a Willbender. He's going to play as though it's anything.
I believe it's the only morph he's seen out of Frank, though.
This is true. He did get Willbend.
Because Frank he drafted the Silent Spectre as well, and he got
has
that Bane of
too.
the Living back
And Bane
too,
of the
didn't
Living,
he?
yes. So he's got at least 3 morphs in his deck,
And the Gathan Raiders.
which I don't think he's playing. I'm going to assume he's not playing that. So, I mean, Frank's at 4, Theo's at 20. Looks like Theo's close to closing this match.
Tumble Magnet is, you'd think it'd normally be really good in this position, but it's actually just a little bit awkward here.
Yeah, it's awkward because the Bloodline Keeper, becomes another creature, so... In a strange twist, he may want to think about tapping something else. I don't know.
The ability on the Windborn Muse also isn't doing too much for him right now.
Yeah. I mean, Frank has just not been attacking.
Is that the Mind Crusher?
It is.
And he targets himself.
Oh, he does.
Fancy moves.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he hit
a couple of lands.
2 lands. I think that's a treasure cruise.
Yep.
Theo's just going to read the Mind Crusher there.
Make sure he can target Frank. Ask if Frank wants to Willbend it back to Theo.
Did Frank leave any blue up? Or he had to pay 2 blue?
Yeah, he wasn't able to. That might have been the other reason he memory lapsed the Reclamation Sage and then got the Mind Crusher out, because he might not have a chance to cast that again later.
That makes sense. So that Mind Crusher, again, still doesn't size up that well against the Spirit Monger. Yeah, it dies, it comes back, it's a 6/6, and he can mill 5 again.
Right.
So he taps that, Frank makes his dude, 2/2 Flying Vampire.
Same play from Theo as last turn.
Yeah, so just those two guys. So Theo's not worried about the Windborn Muse dying because he knows it's only the 2/2 flyer that can block there.
Yeah.
The Spirit Monger has got regeneration up, so he's okay.
It does have Undying.
Yeah. Now, is Frank going to mill himself again, or is he going to be milling Theo?
Well, he's played the Reanimate and he's lost the Treasure Cruise, but he still has the Unburial Rights that he can either use in hand or mill into, which seems really good.
That's right. So it probably still is better for Frank to mill himself.
I would think so.
Now Frank's thinking about not blocking with the Mind Crusher and just doing the Skin Render here. So yeah, just toss out the Skin Render, keep the Mind Crusher, he says. Reclamation Sage is back, and the Signet is popped.
Yeah.
So it looks like it is Frank's turn, yeah? Did he draw yet?
I believe he did. But I'm not sure he's still thinking about doing something end of turn, because that Bloodline Keeper is still tapped.
Yeah, so Frank's thinking for a second here. He doesn't have any end of turn plays. Maybe he just was stretching.
No, yeah. Had to sneeze.
Had to sneeze and was nice and turned away. We'll
That's
assume
not
that.
Frank.
That's not him. He'd sneeze right in Theo's face.
6 mana. And the Requiem Angel.
Requiem Angel. So Frank's also playing out his big dudes.
And that's great with the Bloodline Keeper, because every time you chump, you're going to get an extra
But I
chump
think it's a
blocker.
non-token, yeah?
I think it's a non-spirit. It's whenever a non-spirit
Oh, non-spirit. That's right. So even though it's a token that's dying, you still get a 1/1 token.
Yeah, so they don't chain off of each other, but they do chain off of almost every other creature
Everything
in Frank's
else.
deck. I'm not sure if he has any other spirits or not.
Yeah, this could really keep Frank in it. Again, he's at 4, right? This is not a high life total.
And I don't know if he has any way to gain life. He does have the Thrall Parasite. I don't know if that made it into his deck, but...
Okay. We shall see. However, Theo is not breaking through Frank's defenses.
And he's also not playing red.
And yeah, red would be helpful here. Lightning Bolt, I mean, for the vampire.
Well,
But-
I mean, if you manage to get 4 damage out of somewhere, you can just end the game.
That's true.
Although I have definitely before lightning bolted a creature with my opponent at 3 life.
It always seems like value, right? I've got to do this.
Got to trade card for card, right?
Yeah, that's the way you play. It's funny you say that, but sometimes you get trapped in that type of thinking,
Yeah.
and you're, considering board state as opposed to life total more than anything.
And Theo just flipped over the Palaka in his hand there, but I think he's just... Is it 4 green to cast the Palaka
3 green.
3 green?
Yeah, 4 and 3 green.
So he can play it,
He can play it.
but it would tap him out and he wouldn't have regeneration mana up.
Yes.
But that's a great draw for Theo.
It is. It has trample, which again is a thing. Would have been nice earlier before Frank had, a couple 5/5s on the board.
Yeah.
Just the Spirit Monger. Eats a dude.
Frank's pointing out that he's going to be getting the
Yeah, and
spirit
Theo's
out of this.
going, wait, isn't it non-token? And then Frank's like, no, it's non-spirit. So, yeah, that's a nasty combo there. The Bloodline Keeper can be a very annoying card.
If you can't answer it, it can
Yep.
take over a game.
This entire match we've seen it really kind of doing work and keeping Frank in it. He goes for the Palaka Worm, which again makes sense. Do with your mana.
So
Frank
that's
is
27.
unlikely to kill it. And even if he does, you draw off of it.
And even if Frank wants to start attacking, his mana's a little choked up because of that Windborn Muse.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, Theo is so close here, but Frank is just hanging on. I'd be interested to see if Frank is interested in attacking with the 5/5 Angel.
Yes. Because
Because-
the Angel is keeping back the Windborn Muse, though, because he does still have the Tumble Magnet.
As far as the flyers go, yeah, but he has the Spirit, for now at least, right?
And the Bloodline Keeper, I guess. So,
it's
yeah.
kind of like, I don't know what Frank's game plan is. Like, he's got to start chipping away at the life total sometime.
It just doesn't seem to me like Frank needs to be in a rush.
I don't think he is. You're right. He's not in a rush. But it's just like Theo's at 27
And Frank will deck first because of the Mind Crusher.
because of the Mind Crusher.
Although if it does die, I suppose it could target it.
He could then target Theo, and maybe that would be it. But we'll see. So Theo's thinking about it. He's got this Palaka Worm, which definitely can die. I mean, if it's blocked in a certain way.
Problem is, even if you trade it for a creature, Frank still gets an Angel out of it, or a Spirit,
Out of it. He does. Because, I mean, let's say he attacks only with the Palaka Worm. The block is probably Geralf's Mind Crusher plus a 2/2 Vampire.
Might even be more than that, just in case. I mean, you don't want him to die to pump.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess somebody else gets in there. Well, he has the
he has the
Willbender,
Willbender.
so
Yeah, that's right.
He doesn't
So
really need to.
that could be a real blowout.
That Willbender's just been sitting there waiting for the right time. So
even when Frank does get 30 spirits.
So here comes Theo. That's Spirit Monger and Palaka Worm.
Send in the big guns.
He's thinking about it though. He hasn't lifted his hands. Chess rules.
And he's basically playing off the top at this point.
He is.
This is
All
where
right.
all those ramp cards kind of come back to bite you.
Yeah. Drawing a Cultivate now isn't so hot. I mean, even though he only has 5 lands. So Frank's thinking about putting the Hippie on. Or, okay, he'll make the dude. He's got that there. These 2 there. This is 3 spirits. If those guys die.
Yes, it is.
And Gerald's Mind Crusher.
And a persist, or Undying.
Undying comes back. Is he gonna block that too?
Just one extra spirit. just for lols.
Just for lulz. He's being careful. I mean, the spirit's unlikely to die. Or he might want to kill the spirit so that there's no extra spirit.
Right.
He's given him at least that option. So assigning damage here, Theo's thinking like, do I want to kill the spirit or?
So he's got to order the blockers first. See, if Theo had like the Mastery of the Unseen or something like that, at least he could be.
Yeah, he could be getting those extra dudes out. I mean, just even extra attackers.
Yeah.
Like, Frank's not putting his Angel at risk at all. He's not putting his Wallbender at risk. He's just got all these extra dudes that keep flying in. So there's extra tokens. And does the Geralf's Mind Crusher have a counter on it here?
No, it looks like
No.
Theo just killed the
He
flyers
killed the
instead.
Hippie and the Spirit. Okay. Which kind of makes sense. Again, the Mind Crusher coming back is not a good thing.
Yep. Oh, and he does have the Mastery.
He does have it. There you go. So, Mastery of the Unseen here. Whenever permanent...
You control is turned face up, you gain 1 life for each creature you control, and then you can pay 3 and a white to manifest the top card of your library.
Okay.
So he has 8 mana, so you can make 2 guys a turn. He's already lost his Hydra this game, or was that was the first 2 games?
No, he lost the Hydra this game, I think.
So he doesn't have that option as backup. Because anytime you mastery into something like that, it could be important. But
Yeah.
I don't know if is it too late at this point.
Well, it's the more he does that, the more at risk he is of decking.
Yes.
So if that's Frank's game plan, Theo really needs to be aware of that and kind of, if he's doing anything, it should be to try and win the game, not just to, clog up the board and keep doing stuff, and then eventually just lose to decking.
Because even just on the board now, if Theo pays 4 mana, manifests a creature, and flips it up, he's gaining 6 life.
Yeah.
Goes puts him to 33.
And, well, he won't be able to do it this turn, right? He only has 6 mana.
Well, if he manifests something that costs 2 or less, he could.
Oh, because you flip it for the casting
yeah,
cost. That's right. The other thing is Theo is at a high life total, so I figure that's already not as much of a priority.
I think we might have entered a little bit of a stall here.
Yeah. And again, this is the sort of thing that can happen in a cube, especially in the noob cube, where, again, there's a lot of creatures, you know, even if they're good and high quality and all that stuff, they still just kind of sit there against things like Bloodline Keeper or...
This is why things like
Mind
Bloodline
Crusher.
Keeper and Mastery are such high picks, I think.
Yep, I think so too. Mind you, in a different match, like we said, where suddenly somebody has Lightning Bolt, Incinerate, you know, things like that,
Yeah.
it suddenly doesn't seem to matter as much. But in a matchup like this, it's big time.
He's starting to, yeah, he's paying 2. Attack with the Angel. No,
Yeah,
paying 2 to
he's
attack
too-
with the Mind Crusher.
Okay.
Oh, the Tumble Magnet was
Tumble
dicey,
Magneted.
so he couldn't attack with the Angel. The Mind Crusher's getting in there.
Okay. And Theo is manifesting. Did we see what he got?
No. He took a quick little peek at that, but he's going to block. And it is Valor Stance.
Oh,
He did
Valor
have it in his
Stance.
deck.
He has it. It's too bad that's kind of a waste, right? He would have liked to draw Valor Stance.
Yeah, taking 5 there doesn't seem so bad.
His life total is high enough that it's okay, I think. He wanted to use Mastery of this Unseen anyway,
Yeah.
so doing it, you know, with the attack made sense. It's just unfortunate that he lost such a relevant card.
But now if he leaves his Spirit Monger back, that Mind Crusher can't attack anymore.
That's right. So if Theo is on the defensive, or, you know, just the fact that attacks don't matter at this point, it's unfortunate.
At this point in the game, it's often a good idea to sort of stop back and think, what is my game plan?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, previously every turn Theo's been attacking with the Spirit Monger. If he wants to continue doing that, it will force a chump every turn. But
Yes.
might be time for a change of gears.
Again, the issue is this spirit thing, right? Because it's almost not a chump anymore. You block, it
Yeah.
dies, and you have a spirit.
Oh, manifested a forest that time. He showed us.
Forest. Well, so Frank's making his vampire here because he might as well, whether he's being attacked or not. He gets his dude.
It is worth keeping in mind that these rounds are timed. If these guys do end up going to time, it will go to turns, and then the player with the higher life total will win.
That's right. So 5 turns starting after time is called.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that could be what we're looking at here with this game, right?
The first
I'm
two
not
games
sure
didn't
who's
take
cracking
that long,
through.
but we are getting there.
Yeah. It's because, you know, Theo has a lot of legitimate threats, but then Frank is just clogging, right? Like, he's sitting back on his chumps.
Might be another reason that Theo was willing to block early there to prolong the game and preserve his life total.
Yeah. So life total could matter. Frank gets in with the angel.
Now we start seeing the angel.
Theo's got a play here. He's got
It's going to manifest again, I
Mastery.
believe. Yeah.
So here's the second manifest token.
Interesting to see how many of those manifest tokens we have prepared.
Yeah. First, second, 43rd.
And Frank passes the turn.
Yeah. Theo took the 5. He's a 22, still above 20. And
But, I mean, if he flips a creature for his next manifest, you can flip it up. I mean, that's one of the reasons it's played in standard right now. Is It's a great way to close out the game and stop your opponent from getting anywhere. You can start gaining 10, 12, 15 life a turn.
Because his board is chock full of creatures here.
Third.
There's a third one. This must be very frustrating for Theo, considering how much pressure he's able to apply to the board.
Right.
And yet Frank is just sitting back on all this token generation and these chumps.
Theo has to pay 4 for his 2/2. Frank just has to tap his guy.
Yeah.
And there goes the Eternal Dragon. He's got another planes. You can start doing that every turn if you'd like to.
That's right. Okay, so that gives him, well, he was at 7 mana anyway, but it gives him his extra planes here.
It looks like Frank's actually speeding up the pace of his play here, which is probably because he's behind on life.
Yeah, I think he recognizes that. So, good on you, Frank.
Shuffling his hand faster.
He's got to think, he's got to think.
One of these cards will do it.
Ooh, Staff of Nin.
Ooh.
So Frank will deck first.
It is a clock, but with the mastery, you can gain the life, so dealing the 1 damage every turn. Is Frank going to ping Theo, or is he going to ping the Elvish Mystic there?
Yeah, probably just getting rid of cards on the board is a good idea.
Okay. We've got the 4th token on the field.
Wow, does Theo have an attack here? Does he? I don't think so.
Still a lot of big guys on Frank's side.
Yeah. Alright, so there's Rise from the Grave.
The Palaka Worm.
It's Palaka Worm. Oh, Willbender.
What is he going to Rise from the Grave instead?
So Frank's going to read it for a second here, because it says target creature, so he's going to say...
Ooh, the Hooded Hydra.
Oh, that's nasty.
That is a great
So
play.
that's a 0/0,
Yeah.
and it comes into play as such, and dies. And that's it. That's a waste of mana. So Frank finally gets to use the Willbender. It's nice.
But now it is used up, so...
That's right.
Theo might have known that from the beginning.
So he is at a disadvantage, so he's got to make something happen. So Theo's got his 5th. And, I mean...
At this point, Frank...
Something's got to be a creature,
It
right?
must be like... I think Frank would need Bane of the Living.
Yeah, Bane of the Living.
Because he'll still get his Undying trigger. He still can bring his back as Eternal Dragon, but Theo would still have the Mastery of the Unseen there.
Yeah, he would. This is a tricky position here. I don't know how Frank is going to pull it out exactly.
We also don't even know if Frank decided to main deck the Bane of the Living.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he did.
Yeah.
But he's still just in a kind of a tricky position here, considering 5 turns, and that's 5 turns between them. It's not like each player
High
gets
Sentinels in his hand.
He does have High Sentinels.
Oh, the other thing that would do it would be that Frank's first pick of the draft.
Oh shoot, that Gorgon Gorgolis, whatever her name is.
He knew something we didn't. He envisaged this.
That'd be pretty hilarious. Frank plays the first pick that we really ridiculed him for and then wins.
Again, it's not a horrible first pick.
He's probably not even playing it.
Yeah.
So let's see here. 2 black. 2 black means what, Frank?
Find out shortly.
No,
Keeping
2
us
black.
in suspense.
He's like, I've only got 5 turns. I'm going to make the most of them.
Well, he only gets half of those 5 turns.
That he does. Those swamps have been dancing around. So he does attack with the angel. Theo says, what?
That's not how this is supposed to work.
So, Theo takes it. He's like, fine, 17, that's okay. Now Frank still has 5 flying blockers. Sorry, 6 flying blockers.
Yes. Only 8 blockers total.
So that's the interesting thing here. I mean, Frank needs to do something to put himself in a position to win, right?
Right.
He's got a deck Theo, maybe? I don't know if that's still an option at all.
It's
Or-
tough to tell because the Mastery's been going every turn, but meanwhile,
Yeah.
Frank's played stuff like Eternal Dragon, Twisted Abomination, and Mind Crusher.
Yes. So Frank is probably, well, he cultivated too. Theo cultivated.
Right. Sixth.
There's your sixth.
Theo still seems comfortable with manifesting, so I don't think he's short on cards.
Okay. So let's see here.
You mean you haven't been keeping track of how many cards have been played there?
I've been trying. Just my mathematicos is not good. Haven't been doing it. So he reads the Bloodline Keeper. That flips on 5 vampires.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You have the option. I think you can pay black and you can flip it, transform it if you have 5 or more vampires.
So he taps it, makes a vampire,
And then
and he can pay black to flip it, and then all vampires get +2/+2, something like that.
that's probably his best chance here. Does he have enough mana to attack with all the vampires? He has 2, 4, 6, 8. So you can hit with 4 creatures, and you can do that
Yeah.
over 2 turns. That might do it. But again,
Wow.
if Theo has 1 creature there to flip,
Yeah,
he
and
gains, how many life there? He's looking at about 9 or 10.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a creature there. This is 6 of them, right?
Yeah. Very tense ending to this game.
This is very tense. I mean, it went to game 3, and this third game has just been quite the jam up. Theo was closing it. Theo got him to 4. Frank's been at 4 for how many turns? For most of the game.
Also, Frank taps all his mana to attack with 4 creatures. That leaves him with no mana and not many blockers.
Yes.
So he's got to worry about that.
The Tumble Magnet doesn't have any counters anymore, so that's kind of out of the game.
It also doesn't contribute to the life gain.
It does not. But if he has a creature to flip, he's looking at, what, 9 life?
Yeah, there's a mastery at the top of the screen there, I believe. He's got 6 more Spearmonger. No, so it's 10 life.
Yeah, 10 life. He's got 4 other creatures. Bum bum bum. How's it all gonna end?
It was speeding up when it came close to turns, and now the
Yeah,
turns
now-
are called right back to the regular pace.
Right down to quicksand. Not that either player is playing quicksand. They're just walking in it. Alright. Some tappage. Tappa this. So Frank did flip it to Lord of Lineage. So those are 4/4 vampires. And he can still put another 2/2.
Oh,
the Rushing
Rushing River.
That card he has had in his hand for most of the game. I even forgot about that. Oh!
All right,
Wow.
that takes it.
Look
Wow,
at
what
that.
an end.
What an ending. So,
Golgari Signet, Nykthos, Pacifism, Forest. Is that a Cultivate?
oh,
Another?
Forest!
Oh my goodness.
God, no creatures.
That's unfortunate.
Terrible.
Theo's got to be feeling bitter about that.
Very bitter. Oh, so Theo didn't play a Cultivate this game. It must have been the previous game. So, wow, looked like Theo was on the cusp of victory for so long, and Frank just steals it away. Bloodline Keeper completely dominating the game.
Yeah, MVP for that game.
MVP for sure. That Spirit Angel,
Also very good.
Probably runner-up.
But a great way to start the Cube Tutor Championship
Fantastic
here.
match. Good job, Frank.
We'll see you for round 2.